school virtual presentation of your child's geometry class. My name is Mr. Dunn, and I'm here to talk to you a little bit about our geometry class. First, I guess a little bit about me. This is my 14th year here now. I've taught geometry, I believe, for every one of those 14 years. I might have missed one. It's a different kind of subject. Some kids who really thrived in algebra may not like it as much, or vice versa. Some kids that struggled in algebra may fall in love with a subject like geometry, which is way more visual, and you got to picture things in your head and piece it together, and then there is also algebra involved in it. But it's not as much as solving for x, solving for x, solving for x as Algebra 1 was a year ago. So a little hope if there was, if your child wasn't desperately fall in love with the subject of algebra. This is definitely a different type of math before they move on to Algebra 2 next year. So let's get right into it. Our classroom, the topics covered are on the left. I'm not going to read through them. The materials that we expect your kids to bring, whether they are in school or virtual, is the Chromebook, something to write with, a notebook or folder. We do use something like called Plickers, which is an instant feedback way of checking for understanding throughout the class. Also a calculator. Now, what we suggest is a TI-84 calculator. That is optional. I mean, that's kind of the higher level, more expensive calculators, but every kid should have some kind of calculator. It's kind of a shame when you give a test and, whatever, Johnny doesn't have a calculator and we don't provide them. So you feel bad that that kid won't be able to, they're going to have to do math by hand. It kind of puts them at a disadvantage. So even if it's at the dollar store, I know the school store has calculators for like $20. The only thing in geometry you have to have the sine, cosine, and tangent buttons, the trigonometry buttons. So some of the very, very cheap calculators won't have them, but some sort of a calculator is kind of mandatory for this class. And also how we do it, we don't give out textbooks anymore. Our textbooks are on Big Ideas, something that everyone signed up for. And we're going to get a little more into that too when it comes to the grading. So our grading is pretty much standard with the rest of the classes. Test and quiz is very straightforward. If you receive a 98 on a test, then you're going to get a 98 for that test, and so on and so forth. The two questions you can have is about homework and classwork, that you could kind of do things differently. The way I've always believed in it, homework is not a time to grade for accuracy. That's when tests and quizzes you do. So I solely grade homework on effort and only effort. So it's out of 2 points. If a child gives good effort on a homework, they'll get 2 points. If they only do half of it, or maybe you could see that there wasn't a lot of effort put in, they would get 1 point, which is half credit. And obviously you could probably take a guess on how much they did if they got a 0 on that. So if you do see a 0 in the grade book, it is strictly because of a lack of effort, not a lack of correctness in the work. The other thing is classwork. Classwork is broken down in basically the participation of the class. It is a little subjective as far as bringing your stuff every day. Also, one way to keep track of this, there's do nows that the kids have to do. One way that I keep track of it is these daily Zooms. So every day when we have class, we try to do it just about every single day we can. There's a Zoom link. So just like you're looking at my screen on my computer and watching me talk, your kids do the same thing if they're not in class, whether they're fully remote or they're just remote for that day. It's not their day to come in. They'll see what's on my screen. They're seeing exactly what the kids in school are seeing. And the only thing that we're asking them to do this year, and this is across the board in every class, it's not just my geometry class, is that they have to show their face. That's a kind of a deal where you don't want a kid to just type present to the I'm here attendance question, click the link, and then go to sleep the whole class. So you, as a teacher, we have to see their face, that they're engaged, that they have some kind of notebook out, and they're ready to learn. So that's what we ask. Also, that goes into the classwork grade and how we're asking those daily Zoom links to go. For Google Classroom, which again, everyone is in, there will be do nows on there. We put class notes on there. There'll be homework assignments. Everyone gets all their assignments through Google Classroom, no matter what platform we're using, whether it's IXL or Big Ideas. The daily Zoom link is on there. It's labeled as a Zoom link. So not to get lost in the shuffle, because we usually put multiple things on there a day. And extra help Zoom links, which I'm going to talk about in right now. So our extra help. First of all, in person, I'm here available before school. I usually get here around 7:10. If a kid wanted to come earlier, just tell me, and I'll come as early as they wanted. After school, I'm available from 1:17 to 1:32 on that extra help Zoom link. So at if any moment they do have questions about something that they didn't understand in class, maybe they weren't comfortable on a virtual platform on Zoom with 10 or 15 other kids involved, and they just wanted to be more one-on-one, they could go on that Zoom link. Also, the National Honor Society offers extra help via Zoom. They usually do that in the library when we were all together. But now that a lot of the stuff is virtual, the National Honor Society is also doing that. Also, all of our assessments are going to be virtual until we get out of this craziness that we're in now and we're back together. So big ideas in IXL are going to be ways that we're going to assess for tests and quizzes. Parent portal, open for grades. If you ever have any questions, whether it's a grade that your child's getting, if there's a concern, if there's really anything on your mind that you want to discuss, always feel free to email me. The email's at the bottom. You can find it on the website. Don't feel embarrassed or like you're bothering me. That's what this job is, to address concerns and to do what's best for the kids, for your kids. So always feel free to contact. I want to thank you guys for taking the time, for listening to this virtual back to school night, and enjoy all the other presentations. And hopefully we get back to normal sometime soon. Okay. Thanks a lot, guys. Bye-bye.